I'm Sophie from Wholesome Houseplants and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my Syngonium collection. If you've watched my Philodendron collection video, if not, I'll link it down below, but it's going to be very similar. I just want to show you all of my different Syngoniums. I think I have about 15, 16 different species of Syngonium, and I'm just going to talk you through them all today, and yeah, let's get started. So the first plant I'm going to show you is the Syngonium Albo, or Syngonium Podophyllum Albo variegatum, basically the white Syngonium, or the white variegated Syngonium I should say. So this one has got 4 leaves, new one on the way. When I got it, it had a little bit of root rot, so I ended up having to cut it all back and then regrow it, which is in perlite, and you can see the root system curling around the bottom, which is really, really amazing. I also have a slightly less variegated version of a Syngonium Albo. This is very slanty because I'm not sure, I think it had a stick and then I must have lost the stick when I watered it or something, but I need to fix that, it's a bit wobbly. This is the slightly less variegated version, which interestingly is growing much faster than the very variegated Albo. But I love both of these. Every new leaf is completely different and really exciting. This new leaf is the most recent one, and it's gone from white to quite yellow, I think. Which is interesting, but I really, yeah, these are very, very beautiful. They're quite pricey, but I think they're worth it. I think they're gorgeous. Next up, we have the Syngonium Aurea. So this is the Syngonium Podophyllum Aurea, or yellow variegated Syngonium. It's really beautiful. This leaf especially, where it's just so splotchy. That's not the technical term, but you know what I mean, like it's just so gorgeous. I just love the variegation of this one. I could stare at it all day. Next up we have Syngonium Confetti. This, I must confess, is my newest Syngonium, and I only bought it last week, but I already love it and it's settling in really well. Whenever I get a Syngonium that is already rooted, I put it in pure perlite. That seems to be a really good medium for me and my Syngoniums. So that's what I've done with this one, and it seems really happy. You know, well, I mean, it's hard to tell, it's only been a week, but no shock from transit or anything like that. And this leaf is just like bonkers that is nature. I don't know, I just love it so much. I think it's so gorgeous and I'm really, really happy with this purchase. Next up we have Syngonium Erythrophyllum, or Syngonium Red Arrow. This is the only one of my Syngoniums that I put a pole in basically. This used to be quite a trailing plant, and then I noticed that it was throwing out these really, really massive vines and there weren't really leaves, you know, appearing, so I thought maybe it needed a pole. So I did that and I gave it a pole and I tried to wrap it round, and I'd probably say that I lost about 50% of this plant in doing that. It did not go well. I don't know why. I think possibly it was just me being like an absolute brute and like shoving a pole and damaging a root maybe. That's like the only conclusion I've come to, because basically all the leaves were just fading and just dropping off and dropping off, unless it was shock or something like that. I don't know exactly what happened, but it did not like the move, let me tell you. But that was about like a month and a half ago now, and it seems to have stabilized and we have some new growth, and yeah, I feel like it's starting to return to its former glory, and I do like the way it looks like on a pole. It feels very Christmas tree-esque. So the reason why it's called Syngonium Erythrophyllum / Red Arrow is because when you turn it upside down, there's these incredible red, really red burgundy leaves, and then the green of this Syngonium is, you know, it's so dark that it's almost black, and I really love that about this Syngonium. I think the colours are incredible. Yeah, it's really, really beautiful, and I hope that I haven't done too much damage by giving it this pole, and that in time it will recover and recuperate and become really thick and bushy on this pole. So stay tuned for that. Next up we have Syngonium Golden Venation, also sometimes called Syngonium Ngern Laima, I believe, but I'm going to go with Golden Venation, and it's really gorgeous. The pattern within these leaves is really bold and structured, and this one less so, this one more so, but there's a new leaf on the way. This was obviously a small cutting that I got, but I'm really excited to see more leaves that come out and hopefully more of this definition. This one is in sphagnum moss. Why do I alternate between so many different types of substrates for the same genus of plant? Good question. I think it came in moss and it looked happy in moss, and I couldn't be asked to change it, and so it stayed in moss. And you can see the roots are wrapping around the bottom here. Maybe I will transition this to perlite, because I feel like that's the most reliable substrate for me. But yeah, I really like this one, and I'm really excited to see what this mystery leaf is going to look like. The next one we have is a Syngonium Ngern Laima. So of all the Syngoniums, that's one that I really don't know how to pronounce. I've never heard anybody pronounce it. So I'm going to go with Ngern Laima. But like, do not rely on me for pronunciation because it's probably wrong. But this is really beautiful. It's very sort of white and frosty. It's really long and really slender, these leaves. They're really beautiful. I really fell in love with the length of these leaves. I don't really have any with this kind of shape. And I'm so excited with this specifically because I have an offshoot little baby that's grown. I haven't investigated the root situation yet. I said I'd do it when there's 2 leaves, and there's 2 leaves now, so it's probably due me to have a little rummage and try and separate them, but I'm really happy with this. I think it's really unique, this leaf especially, and there was a bigger one that was on it when it arrived, but it unfortunately yellowed and it fell off, because this was shipped to me from Sweden. I think I got this from, is it called like Aroid Apartment or Aroid? It's the Swedish Aroid shop with the yellow branding. I'll put it in the description below. Yes, it's a really, really beautiful one, and I'm really excited to separate it, and maybe I'll swap somebody for, you know, a different Syngonium with this little baby. The next plant is a Syngonium Macrophyllum Frosted Heart, and this is so beautiful, and I think it's even more beautiful when the light shines through it from the back, because you can see the detail, all of these incredible fine white lines. I actually got this plant in a swap with Terrari Homes on Instagram, so she's my planty friend, she's called Stella, she's lovely, and I got this in a swap with her, and it's really, really beautiful, and I've got a really good new leaf on the way. It's a really good size. What I love about this is the detail on the leaves. The next Syngonium is the most controversial Syngonium because I'm still not 100% sure on the ID, but I think it is a Syngonium Orm Nak. I asked in a Syngonium ID group and that was what I got. It's the colour of a neon robusta, you know, really pink and shiny and iridescent, but the leaf shape is completely different. It's very slender, it's very trilobed, and sometimes it has more like brownier leaves. terrible explanation, but it is a beautiful plant. I really love this one. Again, it's got really good roots wrapping round and round. I noticed the other day on the newest leaf we have a green spot, so a tiny bit of green variegation on this. So maybe it's like a Syngonium pink spot or something else that we haven't identified yet, and it's just like the light conditions that's made it so pink. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with the fact that it's a Syngonium Orm Nak for now. I know that it's definitely not a Syngonium neon robust. So yes, this is my Syngonium Orm Nak and my most colourful Syngonium. The next plant is a Syngonium Pixie. It looks very similar to the Syngonium Podophyllum white butterfly, which I'll show you later, but that's like the most common Syngonium. And this looks very similar, but it's like a miniature leaf version. Like, that leaf is only just the size of my thumb. Obviously, for that reason, I love this because it's so dainty and elegant, and it grows really well. I love how bushy this plant is getting, and it's just starting to produce those nodes halfway up and grow from there. So it's now starting to vine, which is really exciting. And I'm gonna have to rethink this pot situation, potentially give it a pole or some kind of trellis or something. I'm undecided, but I really love this one. And I think it's really elegant. This one, I think, is a Syngonium, is a Syngonium Podophyllum Albo that's reverted. So now it's just purely a green Syngonium. It's not, you know, like the white butterfly or anything where it's quite a round leaf. These are quite triangular in shape, just like the Albos. So they are basically the exact same, except this is the white variegation and this doesn't. Again, I asked in an ID group and some people said a reverted Albo and somebody else said a Syngonium Emerald Gem. So I'm not sure, but I really like this one. I think I bought it because I saw it on eBay randomly for cheap and I just thought it was very unique and not a Syngonium that I'd seen before, and I really liked it, so I got it. And I'm really glad I did, and I'm enjoying seeing how this is vining, but then at the same time these bits are all new as well, so it's sort of growing from the base as well. I really like this one. This bamboo stick is not doing it for me, but I haven't got round to dealing with it yet, so it will change eventually, but for now this is what we have. The next one we have is Syngonium Mojito or Syngonium Mottled. I'm not sure which one is the exact correct name actually, but I think I like Mojito better. This is beautiful. The variegation on this is absolutely gorgeous. Again, it's in perlite. Excuse the double cream yogurt pot. Actually, basically pretty much all of the ones that you've seen, anything that's in perlite is in some kind of upcycled yogurt pot. I just stab holes in the bottom and fill things with perlite and then try and put it in a cover pot. But if I'm being honest, I don't even put these ones in cover pots, I just leave them. Confessions. But yes, this one, I'll just hold it up like that. I absolutely love this Syngonium Mojito, and I got this as a cutting. It only had this leaf and a tiny one emerging, and it's grown so fast. It's the fastest growing Syngonium that I have, and I got it in another plant swap on Instagram with a girl called Lisa, also lovely. And yes, I'm really happy with this one. I think it's beautiful. Next up we have another mystery Syngonium. This one I got in a very cheap eBay auction, and it was listed as a Syngonium Steyermarkii, I believe. It doesn't look like one. I only have one real leaf at the bottom. It doesn't look like any of my other ones. The closest one I'd say this looks like is the golden Venation so far, but even then not really. I have no idea what's going on here. I don't know what it's trying to do, what these tiny little leaf things are. It's a very interesting one, so if you know what this is or what's going on, please do tell me, because I'm in the dark. I'll show you up close, but do you see how it's like there's almost these tiny leaves that are trying to form and then are like stunted or something? Or I don't know. With this one I'm just going with patience and time will tell. So maybe ask me again in a few months' time and I'll tell you if this has got any better or if we know what it is. But possibly Syngonium Steyermarkii. The next one we have is a Syngonium T25 Mini, and possible bias, I think this is my favourite Syngonium. It's beautiful. It's a mini, so like the Pixie, the leaves are small and they will stay small. As it vines, they're not going to get any bigger. They have really beautiful white creamy sectoral variegation, and if they have enough light and if you basically have a magnifying glass or very good eyesight, the edges of the leaves are a fuchsia pink and they're slightly scalloped. I once took a photo of it, so I'll insert a picture, but it's really beautiful. And surprisingly, this one has grown really quickly for me as well. I actually divided this into 3. I gave one cutting I swapped with a friend, and the other one is here, and then my other cutting is actually in my biorb at the moment because I wanted to try a Syngonium in there, and it's doing really well. And I've seen like 2 or 3 new leaves unfurl since it's been in the biorb. I'm still in early phases of my biorb life, but I will let you know how that goes. But yes, this is Syngonium T25 Mini and I love it. Next plant is our Syngonium Trileaf Wonder. This one is really unique in terms of leaf shape. It's got the trilobes, but it's small trilobes and then a big main body. This is actually quite easy to find. You normally see much bigger plants and they're around like £25, but I just wanted a little one and I got this as a cutting on Facebook, and I think I only paid £5 for it. But yes, I really like the leaf shape. It's really unique. This one could actually do with the water. I can feel the pot is very light and I can see that, you know, this is curling in a little bit. That's a good indicator of knowing when to water your Syngoniums. I've never had an issue with underwatering or overwatering. I think they bounce back really easily, so it's not the end of the world if they do curl in a little bit. Yes, this is a Syngonium Trileaf Wonder. Next we have Syngonium Wenlandii, and this I think is one of my proudest plants, not just out of the Syngoniums, out of my entire collection, and I shall tell you why. So I bought this one from Ben's Jungle and I actually did a video unboxing that haul, and I'll link it down below. But basically, after about a week of filming that video, all of the leaves yellowed and dropped off, and it was just very clear that it was in massive transit shock. But the roots were still really good and I still had this, you know, chunky bit here. So I just kept it in moss and I was really patient. And then now, a few months later, all of the leaves have regrown. I've got 4 beautiful leaves, another growth point here. So yes, this is my comeback kid Syngonium Wenlandii and I love it. I love how velvety it is. It's the only one that has a velvet look, you know, almost like a Philodendron Micans kind of texture. It just looks so beautiful. I really love this one, and I feel like I'm always going to be super proud of this because it looked like it was going to die and then it recovered. So I love this one. And then now this is my last Syngonium, and it's also my biggest Syngonium, and it is Syngonium White Butterfly. This is you know, one of the most common ones you can find in the shop, and I think I bought it from maybe Columbia Road Flower Market actually, and I think I only paid about £5-6 for it. It was much smaller at the time. I've taken lots of cuttings from this, I've repotted it twice, and now it's this big, and I love it. This is the only one obviously that's this size, and I don't think I've ever seen, you know, like a Syngonium Confetti or one of the more unusual ones of a plant this size, and I really hope that, you know, in a few years time that I'll have a Syngonium, one of these, which is like this size, and I'm really excited for that. This one is very much started to vine. Maybe I'm going to reevaluate how I grow this. At the moment it's just sat in a pot and it has a lot of space to itself, and I just let it do its thing. Maybe I'll do a trellis or something. If you have a really big Syngonium, what do you do? I'd be very interested to know. Leave me a comment down below. But yes, this is my Syngonium Podophyllum White Butterfly. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all of my species of Syngonium. Please do leave in the comments down below if you knew any of the names that I wasn't sure on, and also let me know your favourite as well. And please do like this video if you've enjoyed it, and subscribe for more, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!